Greetings and welcome to this edition of the news on Canal de English. We are coming to you live from Douala, Cameroon's economic capital. My name is Lesley Fombuh, and these are the major stories. President Paul Biya has called for a concerted action in the fight against terrorism in the world. He was speaking today in Yaoundé as he received New Year wishes from the diplomatic corps based in Cameroon. Some 100 tons of non-biodegradable plastic papers have been seized at a Bonaberi industrial zone. The move is geared towards eradicating the use of non-biodegradable plastic papers in Cameroon. Out of the country, IMF chief Christine Lagarde has called on the Nigerian government to widen its source of revenue in order not to rely so much on oil, especially with the drop in prices. These are the major stories. You are welcome to join us on this edition of the news. Good evening once more and welcome back. President Paul Biya has called for a concerted action in the fight against terrorism around the world. He was speaking as he received New Year wishes from the diplomatic corps based here in Cameroon. We now have details in the following report, courtesy Beatrice Ngamo in Yaoundé.
Unity Palace, this 5th January 2016. Solidarity between President Paul Biya of Cameroon and the rest of the world through their diplomatic representations, that is ambassadors, high commissioners and heads of international organizations. Solemn ceremony with the Dean of the Diplomatic Corps, Monsignor Piero Piopo, taking the rostrum for the first time in that capacity, giving an appraisal of Cameroon's commitment and engagement in 2015, commending her stance on international issues and leadership role in Africa. The challenges such as terrorism threats, influx of refugees, and border instability notwithstanding. Cameroon's support greatly saluted by the international community, why their pledge to join force to eradicate injustice and other occurrences that destabilizes the world. Paul Biya, on his part, still insists on the fact that it is only through concerted actions and determinations that terrorism can be eradicated in the world. To Cameroon's head of state, it is only through intelligence sharing that terrorism movements can be brought under control. This, as there is the need to address problems linked to poverty and injustice that weakens people, making them prey to terrorist groups. Cameroon, like the rest of the world, should be loyal to their people, respecting human values for the well-being of their population. And so the best wishes for the new year to the different authorities these persons represents, themselves, families, and loved ones. Wishes of happiness, health, and success. The Dean of the Diplomatic Corps opens the queue of handshakes and happy
100 tons of non-biodegradable plastic papers have been seized at the Bonaberi industrial zone here in Douala. The move is geared towards eradicating the use of non-biodegradable plastic papers in the country, like you discover in the following report by Our Lady Ndimoring.
It is a joint action spearheaded by the Environmental Inspection Brigade, who are on a conformity control mission on plastic bags in Douala. 100 tons of plastic bags of less than 60 microns were intercepted at the time it was about being transported to the black market and other neighboring countries. This measure falls in line with government's continuous fight to eradicate non-biodegradable plastics in Cameroon.
Team from Yaoundé, we came to assist the regional team in Douala to do plastic control repression, and when we came to OK Plast, just to see if they are conforming to what the ban.
The consignment of goods were seized at the company Plast, situated at the industrial zone in Douala.
We fell on a huge amount of banned plastics, which shows that they are still producing plastic that has been banned in Cameroon.
The non-biodegradable plastics were well fitted in these bags of flour. These are indications that Cameroon is yet to provide alternatives. The control agents have vowed to intensify vigilance, change strategy, and penetrate such black markets in order to put an end to the use of non-biodegradable plastics, which continue to create havoc in society.
Now, workers of a forestry company have embarked on a strike action demanding an amelioration in their working conditions. The disgruntled workers say the management of the company is reluctant to apply a collective agreement signed between the workers and the management of the company. Ndimorin reports.
Barefooted, others putting on slippers, but holding a sad face, these men are employees of the trade and transport company, CCT, specialized in the exploitation of wood. The blog assessed the company based in Bonaberry, Cameroon, in the early hours of Tuesday. The disgruntled workers are demanding an amelioration in working conditions. They have also frowned at what they described as injustice in the company.
We are working in a company which is still holding tight to the colonial system. We are subjected to all sorts of insults. We are constantly threatened by our employer. Before today's strike action, we have had several negotiations at the Labour Office. It led to this protocol agreement which the employer agreed to respect. He is violating it. He has done nothing to respect the protocol agreement.
The workers say they are fighting a just cause. According to them, administrators of the company have violated the May 19, 2015 protocol regulating working conditions, claims which company administrators have denied. The cry for justice was again made difficult, especially with the presence of snakes in the area, snakes that set out beating one of the workers. Tension was high, and the proprietor in Lebanese refused commenting on the situation. The workers have vowed to press on with their strike action until favorable solutions are provided.
Now, the University of Yaoundé 1 has just hosted the very first international conference on the information and communication technology in Africa. The aim of the conference is to seek ways of developing the sector in Cameroon. We have details. Ketsia reporter in Yaoundé, Joël Ndumbo.
A laptop, a cell phone and other ICT application tools to enhance development. Target of the first international conference on information and communication technology for Africa development. Opened January 5th at the University of Yaoundé 1.
We give a lot of impetus on the development of ITC in order to help Cameroon to perform better in the world.
Providing solutions to better the socio-economic standard of population. Third step, problem identification.
How people use technology to make their lives better. That's more difficult because then we have to analyze more carefully exactly what is the problem. How do the people feel that problem? How can we work with the people so as to make the problem go away?
For the over 300 students of the field of information and communication technology for Africa development, ICT for AD, it's opportunity to sell out the Made in Cameroon.
This is much more about bringing solutions to concrete problems that Cameroonians face in their daily activities. Those conferences were important because we were taught to impact our societies. We should make careful research in particular domains in order for us to implement technical solutions to change people's life.
I would like to tell you that the MOU that we're going to sign will help for all those to solve all those problems of exchange of teachers, exchange of students, because we are open in our university to meet the others in order to promote science.
ICTs, virtually dynamic recent time at the University of Yaoundé 1 for the better of Cameroon.
Now, all is not well with government bilingual high school at Tugebe in Yaoundé at the start of the second term for the 2015-2016 academic year. Some classrooms in the school were completely ravaged by a wildfire, like you'll discover in the following package.
These are the remains of wheels that caused fire incident at Government Bilingual High School Etukebe on January 4th. Actually, students say they are the ones who unconsciously caused this situation. Ignorant that it could turn into fire incident, they put fire in their garbage can with wheels inside. Alert by black flame that invaded the sky, Students immediately deserted their classrooms to come and see for themselves. These are the two classes that was almost consumed by fire, but for the rapid intervention of school administrators, students and benches were evacuated from the danger zone. Attempts to stop the fire was in vain till the arrival of the firefighting brigade, who came and neutralized the fire that frightened students and administrators of Government Bilingual High School Etukebe on this first day of classes for the second term.
Now, rehabilitation on the Wang Bidung Road in the south region of the country have been completed. Users say this will go a long way to reduce the number of road accidents in that part of the country due to the rehabilitation works on the road. We have details, courtesy Carol Kemaju in Yaoundé.
ICT's virtually dynamic recent time at the University of Yaoundé 1 for the better of Cameroon.
The Kwan Bijong Road, rehabilitated in the locality of Muyom Musala, will henceforth facilitate movement and activities in the area. This project, launched by Arab contractors in 2013, comes as a New Year gift for population of the Nja and Lobo division in the South region. For 18 months now, the technical team have been working hard to execute this assignment. I followed this work from the beginning and can assure you that the road is of good quality. I followed this work from the beginning and can assure you that the road is of good quality. As the regional delegate of public works for the South region, I appreciated the quality of work done, satisfied, and wish happy continuation to the company for eventual projects in the region. Apart from rehabilitation works on the road, they equally had the mission to clean up gutters and make sure security is established in the area. The presence of authorities on the field is to appreciate the quality of work done. For inhabitants of these villages, 2016 will indeed be a good one for them, as everything that begins well also ends well.
Now, the reduction in fuel prices, as announced by the head of state, President Paul Biya, during his end-of-year address, is quite effective in Edea in the Sanaga Maritime Division. Filling stations in that part of the country have begun respecting the new prices. We have details in the following package.
The reduction in fuel prices, as announced by the head of state, Paul Biya, is effective in Edea. A visit to some of the filling stations indicates that the new prices are being respected scrupulously. 638 francs CFA for petrol and 684 francs CFA for gas oil. Well, we are happy with the measure taken by the head of state. As a transporter, it will go a long way to reduce my cost. Others say the reduction is not significant. It's just like maintaining the same situation. 20 francs CFA is not a major change. We expected them to reduce it at least by 50 francs CFA. Well, for now, we have no option. Well, for us, commercial motorbike riders, we feel no change. 20 francs CFA is not a remarkable change. We expected him to reduce at least 200 francs CFA. We all know there has been a remarkable reduction at the international level. 20 francs CFA is no reduction. Other countries have reduced fuel prices by 200 francs CFA. If 20 francs CFA has been deducted, it will definitely have no impact on transport fare in Cameroon. Transporters and vehicle owners in the country are already getting acquainted with the new prices.
We now take news out of the country. The IMF chief, Christine Lagarde, has called on the Nigerian government to widen its source of revenue in order not to rely so much on oil, especially with the drop in prices. She met today with Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari. However, she is impressed with the government's response and challenge to sustain low oil prices. We take this other story. Half of the votes of the Central African Republic presidential and legislative elections have been counted already. Faustin Touadera and Anicet Dolo Gele are now separated by 271 votes. Authorities say they will not stop counting despite calls from 20 of the 30 candidates for a halt on grounds of counting irregularities. We take this note in the United States of America, where U.S. President Barack Obama has unveiled new restrictions on guns, saying constant excuses for inaction have to stop. The White House has outlined its plans for executive action, which focus on background checks. Most of the action can be carried out with congressional approval. Well, televiewers, that's all we gathered for you for this edition of the news. We want to thank you for your kind attention. Until tomorrow, let's take a rendezvous, and it's goodbye.